Good afternoon for everyone who joined this webinar. My name is Evaldas Valunas. I am Partnerships Manager here at Hermetar Solutions Baltics, and I will be moderating this webinar. Yeah. So I'm glad actually you joined this webinar. This webinar is one of the series, as we call it, Go and Grow MSP. So these webinars are focused purely on growing MSP businesses. And today we'll be talking about Sophos MSP solutions. Today our guest speaker is Dima Dabur. She is a senior MSP channel account executive in Northern Europe, Middle East, Africa at Sophos. So in simple terms, Dima is the right person for you to help you grow your MSP business with Sophos solutions. So before we move on, just a few housekeeping rules. Yeah, so this webinar is being recorded. You will be able to see the recording. My colleague Simona, she will share the link where this recording could be found. And also during the webinar, we have a possibility to ask questions. So just feel free to enter them into chat box and we'll address these questions. Hopefully all of them if we have time for that. And I believe maybe some of them will be even covered during the presentation. So, okay, so also besides the questions, we also have a few questions from our side. So we'll release a few polls. So I really encourage you just to take some time and answer with these questions, so it would be easier for us to understand our audience. Yeah, where you at MSP. Yeah, so in terms of MSP services. So this would be useful for us to understand when we providing this kind of presenting this information about MSP. So without further ado, I'm just handing over the stage to Dima. Dima, stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So as stated before, one of the good things that we Sophos have for you as partners and MSP is a dedicated resource only to drive that business. So I work hand in hand with the country manager of the Baltics, and my role is more of a consultant than a salesperson to help you to move to transition into this managed service provider space. And this is what we will be discussing today. So before we just dig into that, I really would like to hear from you just to know you better. So I have been with Sophos, just before that, sorry, I missed to introduce myself very well. I have been with Sophos for 10 years. I worked before in Dubai as a country manager in the Middle East, and I moved in here to Sweden, and I now handle the MSP. I manage the MSP business across Nordics and Middle East and Africa. So I have seen this company transform completely, and we have one of the most exciting MSP programs out there when it comes to cybersecurity. So we would like to launch the first poll, and I kindly ask you to answer. So we are giving you 30 seconds to answer. So as we can see here that we have interesting results. So 40% of you are an MSP. We are 10% are transitioning, and 20% are not decided, where 30% are considering it. So that is a very interesting result, and we will talk more about that. I will shed more light about your results, and this is very close to what I have been expecting from this webinar, to be honest. So my role here is just to explain to you, what does it mean to be an MSP? What does it mean to transition into MSP? what does it mean if you are an MSP and want to provide cybersecurity services? What you should think about, and last, why to partner with Sophos? Why Sophos is the right vendor for you, right? So let's define what a managed service provider is and what is the model. So a managed service provider is, by Wikipedia, and that's a very long sentence, but it's a company that remotely manages the customer and the end user, and they sell a service, and that's an under subscription model. So what does that mean mainly? Is that it's not a product anymore that you sell, it's a service. So if you are a traditional reseller, what you normally do is you go to a customer, you look at their requirement, and then you design a solution. That solution has a product or multiple products, and then you do there is a sales cycle, you do a proof of concept, you write specifications, and then after that, you go into a PO and a quotation and a PO and a license or hardware and so on, right? So that's a typical reseller. But when you are an MSP, what you sell actually is a service, not a product. So the product has nothing to do here. You can call the service whatever they want, and then this is what the customer gets. So it's completely different in that sense. The other part where when we talk about MSP, and that's part of the definition, is to have remote management and service automation. So when you sell a service and the service hiding is masquerading products behind that, then automation becomes the key, because you need to sell. It's like a menu of a restaurant. You offer it, the customers get it, and they offer it, and then you put up the ingredients together, and that becomes your dish and your menu. So you need to think about pipeline automation. How can you get the same consistent menu all the time and service, and how can you reach to as many customers as you want with the same model? So that's where remote management service automation is very important. And obviously, the main definition of this is that it is provided on a subscription model on a monthly basis. The customers, they don't want to do their IT anymore or their security anymore. They want to come to you, and then you do it for them. So what that means is that you become a virtual CIO for that customer. You become their IT department. You become their trusted advisor. Now, a couple of the MSP advantages of a reseller, for those of you who are still not sure and they still weighing what's in it for me in MSP, what's the difference between an MSP and a traditional reseller, is that in MSP, there is a recurring revenue that's already happened. Like, think about your run rate. If you sell products, like, you have run rate and you feel good that you have this fixed amount that is somehow already coming, and you depend on that to pay the wages, and then you close this big deal that will really bring you to a profitable way. MSP is more predictable than your run rate, because you have contracts, you have a recurring revenue. When you have services, you sell that, it's normally combined with a service contract. So then you know that you have a recurring revenue that covers maybe the cost of the operation. And then when you expand and automate, then you will find yourself scaling up very fast. Now, new customers is something very interesting. What we have seen when our MSP have done a successfully good service, launch it to a couple of customers, automatically it becomes easier to sell to more customers. It becomes, the customers refer him to other customers to get the same service. So that's what we have seen. Loyalty, customer loyalty, is where there is a little bit of a misconception. MSPs or resellers think that if they move to MSPs, they will have no loyalty because it's pay as you go, it's automatic, it's monthly billing. But what we have seen is it's the exact opposite. So if I am happy with a service and I know what I'm paying and I know what I'm getting, it's very less likely to, and I go and change that service to something else unless I am very unhappy with the service provider. And if you think about the things you pay month over month, you will find that yourself. But when you have a product, when you sell a product, then it becomes very easily compared to other products. And I will give you a very simple example, like here in Sweden, supermarkets, like as commodity as it gets, supermarkets, they sell apples, they sell chicken, they sell a lot of things. And then you become to compare the price of 1 kilo of chicken here versus 1 kilo of chicken there. So what supermarkets have launched is that something called food bag weekly service. So weekly service, you subscribe to a food bag and then they send you every week a bag with vegetables, fruits, meats, carbs, everything you need to do with a recipe book so that you can do your food week by week. And they are competing there now because it's very hard to compete over commodity, over product, but then you can compete over services. And then if you have this service and you're happy with it, you are less likely to go to the other provider because like it's very hard to compare apple to apple now. You are comparing the full thing, right? And obviously profitability. You need to try that for yourself, but there is an absolute higher profitability because you provide a service, you cover a lot of products, and customers cannot really compare apple to apple again, right? Now, what is the market opportunity? What is pushing the market towards managed services, right? Why many of you are MSP already? Why many of you are actually considering that move? So we all know when we talk about security in specific, there is a big number here, that orange $150 million, right? And I know you have seen so many numbers from different vendors and all that. And that number is growing in a very high percentage year over year. But when we talk MSP side of that, it's growing on a much, much more rapid phase. And COVID-19 has just dialed it a big notch. So when we were a public company, Sophos, we were publishing 83% growth, 56% growth year over year of our monthly billings on our MSP model. Now, what's driving that basically is that 82% of the customers, they have a shortage of cybersecurity skills. So they have shortage of IT skills. They are a business, maybe they are a small carpenter business, a small gardening, designing business, and they just want someone to take care of their IT. But also even the people who have IT department, they are shortage of security skill. And that's what's driving the managed services business in general. Now, very interesting is that 50% of businesses, and these are the source reports if you are interested to read more, 50% of businesses, they say they want to use managed detection and response by 2025. So, and maybe you have heard it from your customers already, hacking has become every day we hear a new news, a new hacking thing coming, data is leaked, data is encrypted, and they are realizing that the antivirus is not enough. And we will talk more about that, but they are looking for managed detection response. And if you'd like to know more about managed detection response and what does it mean and what the opportunity lay behind there, just write in the chat session, I would like to know more, or me, and we will contact you to help you to understand more. The second part is that with cloud migration, 96% of enterprises, they want to move to cloud. They want that they have on-premise servers. They want to move to the cloud and they are worried, right? And that's a big potential. I know some regions are reluctant to move to the cloud than the others. They use virtual cloud hosted in a partner's data center in the same country. But COVID also has made this wake-up call for so many people that they need to be in public cloud somehow for flexibility and availability reasons. And obviously, all of them, when they want to move to the cloud, they worry about security. So I would like to launch the second poll just to understand a little bit more our audience here. So if we can run it. If you're an MSP, do you sell cybersecurity services? Oh, that's really good. So 86% of you, they are selling cybersecurity services. So let's dig more about that then in the coming slides. So I just would like to highlight what do we mean when we say cybersecurity? And then we go into some more definitions later on to help us set the scene better. I was helping my niece to understand a little bit of abstract math, and I really like the way of simple sentences to reach to a conclusion. So we need to maybe think about that COVID-19 has affected the survival of many organizations, and they now know that digitization is the way to survive. Even every gym, every restaurant, every carpenter, so they realize they need to be digital in order to continue to do business. Now, even if we are ahead of our vaccines and we go back, maybe next time we have this event in the Baltics, we all meet, we have some good time together, but we still know that we need to be digital, right? And that's driving a lot of the transformation within organizations. Now, cybersecurity is all about securing that digital entity of a company, which means cybersecurity is important for survival, right? If you have your digital entity online and then you don't secure it and then it's hacked, the business is ruined, then what's the point, right? So it's extremely important. So many customers, for example, they rushed into moving to public cloud. They moved their data center to public cloud. They didn't think about security. These servers were hacked, the data were published, the reputation were ruined. So it's extremely important. Now, also it's important to mention that when we say cybersecurity, that is not only antivirus and backup. And that's what we see a lot from our customers, to be honest. They think that just by putting an antivirus, that they are secure and that's all what they need to do. Or they have backup, and then if something happens, they will just roll back that backup and things are okay. Now, what we have seen from the threat landscape is that these are not enough. Even if you have antivirus, like you can still be hacked for months before even that malware is activated for the anti-malware to stop it, and data will be leaked in and out. Even if you have backup and the data is encrypted, and you say, okay, I will roll back the backup. Well, what about this data being sold online in an auction place and you get this GDPR fine and all? So it's not only, cybersecurity is not only that, and that's a conception a lot of customers have. Cybersecurity is all about securing the digital entity of a company, as we said. So it's securing everything, securing the perimeter, securing the user, securing the network, securing the applications. So everything needs to be secured. So the zero trust, zero boundary network is what we need to secure to provide cybersecurity. Okay. I would like here to take poll number 4. So it's just a code we use between me and the Hermitage team to launch the right poll. So are you receiving more demand from customers for security related services? Wow, 100% says yes. Really good. So that confirms everything that I'm about to present here. So let us highlight a little bit, and let me go a little bit more into what is an MSP and what is an MSSP to link to the code that we just launched. MSP is a managed service provider, what we have been explaining before, that provides managed IT meaning computers, Office 365, networking, and so on. And when we come to security, they provide antivirus and network firewalls and so on. So that's what an MSP is. Now, an MSSP, managed security service provider, is an MSP that provides on top cybersecurity, in meaning to secure the digital entity of an organization, not only the antivirus and backup, not only the antivirus and firewall and backup, and one very important thing, which is Security Operations Center, SOC. And SOC is so different than NOC, and so many customers mix between the two. Network Operations Center is where you use your RMM is to manage the endpoints that someone is not able to access, push updates, patches, someone is unable to connect, you fix that, they open tickets and so on. A SOC is where people, threat hunters, they are cybersecurity experts, and they sit and deal with threats. So they prevent threats, advanced threats, right? And that's something different than a NOC. So an MSSP, managed cybersecurity service provider or security service provider, is someone who provides cybersecurity services on top of the managed IT and a SOC services. Now, if we link this back to my first slide, when I showed you that 50% of customers, they want to have managed detection response, they are looking for an MSSP to give them the SOC service, right? So obviously you all answered 100% that you are getting more interest about cybersecurity services. Why? Because the customers are more aware. As I just said, 50% of them, they are looking for NDR. So they know that that antivirus is not enough. The other 50%, they still don't know, right? And this is where we can work with them. And this is where basically we as Sophos will walk with you wherever you want to be, right? So the customer awareness and demand for cybersecurity is increasing. Customers, they want to deal with one MSP, one service provider. So the customers are putting more demands on their MSPs to provide more cybersecurity services. They want their MSPs to become an MSSP, right? To provide them MDR, to stop threats, to secure their mobiles, their data, their cloud transformation and all that. And this is where we as Sophos can help you into this transformation. Whether you want to be a managed service provider looking to provide managed IT and antivirus and network or endpoint security, and you are looking for consolidation and automation, we will give you that. We will talk more about that in the later slides. We will work with you. If you want to become an MSSP, provide full cybersecurity service, provide the SOC, we will be with you. So wherever you are in your journey, if you are transforming from a reseller to an MSP, also we will be with you. Our dashboard, we will look into that, give you the ability to manage both yearly customers, which is your traditional reseller business, as well as monthly customers on a monthly basis and a usage basis. Yeah? Now, when you want to transform from a reseller to a managed service provider, you need to think about three things for the ones of you who are thinking or transforming. First is your business model. Okay, what kind of services do I need to offer? What is my service level agreement? What my contracts should look like? Do I want to have a startup fee? if a customer wants to start with me? Do I want to have a penalty fee, like a customer cannot leave me until if they want to leave me, they want to give me 3 months notice because I have costs that I need to cover? Or do I just want to have full flexibility that if a customer wants to leave, they can do that. And if I want to leave a customer, they can do that. So we have two kind of MSPs. One who likes to put everything in a contract that the customer needs to pay 3 months before they leave. One says, no, I'm actually happy to have that flexibility, because if I see a customer is giving me so many problems, then I have that flexibility as well to tell him, I don't want to deal with you from now on. So it depends really where you want. You need to decide what your service level agreement, what your offering should look like. Yeah, what do you want to offer? Do you want to offer managed IT with some security services like antivirus, backup, and network, or do you want to go and provide full cybersecurity services? Then you need to calculate your service cost. So it's not only about the products that you are selling, it's about what is your service cost? How much does it cost you to support your customers, right? KPIs, what kind of KPIs do you look at? Like how much, for example, revenue, okay, how much revenue I'm gonna get, how much hours per customer I'm gonna get, how much is my conversion rate between prospecting to signing a contract, how much is the retention rate for my customers, how much they are staying with me. So all these KPIs, you need to define that makes sense to your business, and write it, define it, so that you can measure it as you are transforming. If you don't have KPI, how can you measure if things are not going well, and then decide what do you need to do to fix it? And then staffing, and that's extremely important. Which sales, which technicals do I need? Remember, being an MSP is not the same as being a reseller, because in a reseller mode, you need to sell the product. Here you are selling yourself as a partner, as an MSP. So you need the people to talk about you, to talk about a solution, not a product, to sell you, not the vendor, not Sophos, not any vendor you deal with. The next step becomes that technology that the MSP technology, and it's like how do I deliver these products that comprises my services, right? How to monitor my customers. Remember, automated management and remote management is very important. What kind of RMM do I use? What kind of PSA invoicing do I use, right? How to deploy the products? How can I automate, right? How can I buy these products? Like, are they all available for me, easy to buy, aggregated, or do I need to deal with 6, 7 partner programs and price lists to deliver my service, right? The last step is the MSP go-to-market, where you decide what you want to sell, you know how you are going to actually deliver the service, and then you need to market it. Which customers do I need to start with, right? Maybe, for example, if you realize that you have a smaller, let's say, you have so many dentists in your customer portfolio, and you realize that if you want to start with your MSP, you realize that maybe these are the best target to start with, right? Because they are perfectly fit for the service that you want to start with right now. Think about your pitch. And we have a very good webinar about marketing for MSPs and resources on the partner portal. So if you are interested, again, write in the chat, I'm interested to hear more, and we will share that with you. Campaigns, what kind of campaign do I need to do to sell my service? And we have a section on that on our partner portal as well. So this is the transformation. This is what you need to think about. Now, if you are transforming, and if you are thinking, I have been working with many MSPs, and they kind of think, it takes time. They keep thinking that, okay, it's going to take so much time, it's complicated, and they keep delaying it. Trust me, if you just sit, 2 hours is enough to draft that. If you have clarity of your customers, what you want to sell, you just do it. It's going to be, when you start doing it, it looks like a big task, but when you actually start doing it, little by little, you will see that it moves on. So that's from my experience, to be honest. Now, why Sophos? Why Sophos is the vendor of choice for you in your transformation from a reseller to MSP, or if you are an MSP and wanting to be more profitable, more efficient, if you want to provide more cybersecurity services, if you want to become an MSSP, why Sophos? And that is, the answer to that is in three things. One, security vendor, one management dashboard, and one flexible program. And we'll go through that one by one. So one security vendor that covers all your IT cybersecurity needs. If you want to sell cybersecurity, you want to secure the digital identity of a company, the digital company, right? And if you want to provide SOC services, you want to lower your vendor expenses. So I didn't put any vendor here because I don't want it to look like any kind of vendor competition or something like that. But if you want to provide full cybersecurity services, you either need to deal with a different vendor for every product and then package that up and sell it as a service. But that means you need to manage multiple partner programs, multiple training courses and all that. What we give you as Sophos is one vendor that you have all these products for you to build your services on. And they are all in one MSP program, in one management dashboard, in one pricing model. Yeah. So that's the advantage. So what that means to you, you cut the cost of vendor management, you speed up your deployment, your expansion, because your engineers get trained faster. So if I will not go into details of each and every product, I will just say quickly what each product is. But if you like what you hear and if you are interested more into becoming an MSP partner, you want to know more, we can give you another call or invite you to another webinar where we go more into details about that. So again, if you are interested, just write in the chat. So when we talk about endpoint, for example, we have the endpoint, the antivirus, the next generation endpoint. If you want to be more advanced, we give you EDR. If you want to provide the SOC service, but you don't want to build a SOC service yet, it takes so much time and money to build that, but you want to provide it, we give you that where you can wrap it up and sell it as an MSP. We have XDR as well. So all of that are on monthly billings in one dashboard. If you want to secure the mobile devices, right, that's part of cybersecurity, to secure the mobile devices, whether you want to control it or you want to secure it as well. We provide you for mobile security. If you want to secure the desktop, so many people are working from home, the laptop is home, obviously you need to encrypt. I have been a couple of weeks ago with a partner that one of their customers, they forgot their laptop on a bus and it has so much personal information that it's extremely important to encrypt. And that means, obviously, when you want to encrypt, you need an easier way for password recovery so that you don't get bombarded with support tickets. You need key management and all that. Then we have email security, something that you can provide on top of your Office 365 solutions to provide a second layer of security, inbound, outbound email, encryption, sandboxing, where you detonate the attachments in sandbox, deep learning, machine learning protection to secure the mails. PhishThreat is one of the most interesting products that you can open doors with for your services. We have so many MSPs that all what they did before was selling Office 365 and managed IT. And when they wanted to start with cybersecurity, they started with this: clubbing, phishing simulation and training, second layer email security on top of their Office 365, then moving to endpoint, then moving to firewalls, then moving to wireless, and now they are moving to the cloud. So that's a recipe of success where you can land and expand for customers. So PhishThreat is a phishing simulation and education platform. It's a very good thing to start showing your customer that you are your trusted advisor. Firewalls, right? We have firewalls, whether they are, we will talk a little bit more about that later. Server protection, they are different. We don't use the same agent on the endpoint that's on the server. We have a dedicated agent that makes a lot of difference when you talk about performance. Wireless, if you have a customer that needs wireless access points fully managed from one dashboard, very easily set up. I set up my full home. I'm not even an engineer, I'm a salesperson in 10 minutes. Cloud Optics is what we call public cloud posture security management, and that's where you can look at all your servers in the cloud, have a topology, what's going on, how the traffic is going in and out. If something is configured wrongly, it will tell you like this server is open to the public, so you can actually do what needs to be done. You can have compliance reports if you are compliant from a public cloud perspective with GDPR and so on, and reporting that's linked to the firewall. All of these products are in one program, in one dashboard. And if you see here the tags, these are the groups. So everything you sell and cross-sell is fully consumption-based on monthly billing, pay as you go. So you can go up and down any month you want, and you aggregate. So the more you sell and cross-sell, we combine all of your licenses together across all of your customers. You see so many products in one group, and that could bring you fast to a higher band, we call it band, to a higher band that will make your cost goes down, right? So what we are saying here is that we give you one vendor to cut down your expenses, to make it easier to vendor consolidate, and then we make it very easy for you to cross-sell, land and expand, but then we reward you for it with our program. So it's one program, yeah? Now, on top of the products, dealing with Sophos, having all these cybersecurity products from one vendor, it gives you something on top, and that's free of cost. It gives you something called synchronized security. It's selling cybersecurity as a system, if we may say. Whereas the products talk to each other only by you having them and enabling this heartbeat, we call it heartbeat. And what you get is two things. First of all, either you get an incident response, zero-touch incident response. For example, if the firewall sees a weird traffic from the endpoint, they can check what is the problem. And if there is an hacking discovered, it will isolate that endpoint. So that's an automated response. You don't need to do anything. The second thing you could get is new insights. Like, for example, if the firewall sees traffic that the firewall doesn't recognize, he can simply ask the endpoint what traffic that is, and the endpoint will be able to report back the traffic, and then you can shape it, block it, SD-WAN rule it, and all that. So that's very powerful, that's very helpful. So many MSPs, they wrap new services around this synchronous security, and they just sell it. So it's very, very good to have and to feel that you have extra security. When you are an MSP, you need to think about the customer is not buying the product, is buying a service. So you need products that are strong, that got your back, right? Because the customer don't know maybe that you are selling Sophos, you are selling them your service. So it's extremely important to rely on a strong vendor. So example of service offering will be, for example, if you are a managed IT, as I said before, start on top of your Office 365 to put email security, phish threat, which is a phishing simulation. And then the last line of defense to have endpoint security, if you are wanting to be just on the MSP side, or EDR, or even MDR, if you want to go into more of this MSSP space. If you want to go and do a package, for example, protect your data, where you protect the endpoint, the mobile, and you encrypt. So you can call a GDPR package, protection advanced, silver, gold package. So there are so many examples. And I have here two examples I took from two MSPs just for you to see. So like this package here called Service plus Antivirus. So Service is their managed IT. This is what they mean. And Antivirus. So that's a typical MSP, like they don't want to go more into the MSSP space. Service plus firewall, right? So that's the managed IT kind of thing, the MSP kind, sort of things. And this is the description of the service, like what does it have? There is no simple word of Sophos here, right? They work with us, but there is no mentioning of Sophos. Another option, and I just removed the prices here, is to have, this is more of an advanced kind that the partner wants to go more to be an MSSP, and he has basic offering for his customers, that's Endpoint, where it's like the antivirus plus next generation and anti-ransomware. But then if the customer wants to have the advanced, then they get more managed detection response and so on. And if they will go total, they get that plus encryption plus mobile and so on. So you can absolutely create that, create a package description, put a price and define what is your service package and go for it, right? So this is just for inspiration. Now, when we talk about firewalls, we actually in Sophos has a very good thing when it comes to firewall. First, all the software is on monthly billing, right? All the models. We have every flavor a customer could think about, like whether it's hardware, they want to have hardware, they want to host, they want to have a firewall on a private cloud hosted at their preferred service provider. So many partners, I don't know if one of you is a service provider where you host servers for your customers in your data center. So maybe you want to provide security for that. So you can put the firewall on a VMware machine, on a desktop, on a laptop that has a virtual machine, or you can have it in the public cloud in Azure and AWS. You can have bring your own license on a yearly basis, bring your own license on a monthly basis. Even you can consume it from the marketplace itself. So there is everything you need to consume. Any way your customer wants to do business with you, we back you up from our side so that you can deliver a good service. So let me give you an example. Before giving the example, we here have a very unique thing for you, is that you can start a virtual firewall as a service, purely pay as you go. What you mean, very, very flexible in 3 clicks. You click one time, request virtual firewall, you select what size, what machine do you have already to run that firewall. You put what subscription you want. This is a security subscription, and create, and that's it. And then if your customers have more servers, he needs a bigger firewall, you edit, you go up, you go down, you change the subscription, you remove it completely. Maybe, so we have so many customers during COVID, for example, they wanted to have a disaster recovery or a replica of their data center in the public cloud in Azure and AWS, but they are not sure because of COVID. Maybe they need it for 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe they will move to public cloud forever. So this is a perfect way for you to have a firewall to secure them, right? Because if you go physical, maybe they have more servers, maybe they have less, and all that. And one of the service offering example we are doing a lot in the Nordics is that we have a box called Red, SD Red, which is this box here, that the image is a little bit blurry, but it's this box here that is a very plug and play VPN box that you can send it behind a bus, a home office, a camera, a ship, and so on. And it will link automatically, very easily, very quickly to the main firewall, and you have a layer 2 VPN tunnel, and then you can secure the traffic from there. So we have customers, for example, who have many ships, many remote retail, and they want to connect it to a firewall, but sometimes they have more ships, more branch offices because they have started somewhere, but then they close it down, some lockdown happens, so they want that flexibility. So all what they do is create this virtual firewall as a service fully on MSP, right? And then they order these red boxes and connect them. And when in 1 month they have more branches, well, they scale up. They have less branches, they scale down, right? Obviously, you need to have the machine, right? You need to have either the VMware or the public cloud server for that. But that's a very unique service you can offer to your customers and make money. Now, very good thing. I just want to hint to that please, you as MSP, you need to protect your houses. We have seen so many news how the MSPs are targeted because they have the key to access all of the customers. If you have an RMM and you can manage, if you have remote access to your customers, then the hackers, what they are doing, like they are trying to reach the MSP and from the MSP to reach to the customers. So please, just a hint, like secure yourself. We have a very good NFR program for you to protect yourself either with our Intercept X Advanced. If you want to have MDR, like someone to look after your network and make sure that there is no hacking happening, stop that hacking, we have a very good program for that. And you get to see the products that you will sell as a service if you like that. Obviously, aside from Sophos, please enable two-factor authentication. I think maybe everyone knows that, but just make sure that you are secure as much as possible because you are the entry to your customers. And we have so many MSPs that they went with the NFR license for managed detection and response, and they put it as a badge that we are secure in the best way possible, so your network can be secure with us, Mr. Customer. Yeah. So I have a poll here for you, the last poll number 3. As part of your MSP offering, do you place a heavy focus on efficiency through automation? All right, so 80-20, 80 says yes, 20 says no. Very good. So let's look, what does it mean partnering with Sophos if you are looking about automation, consolidation, what does it mean partnering with Sophos? So that brings us to the second reason why Sophos could be your vendor of choice for your MSP journey, and that's one management dashboard, right? One management dashboard to manage all of these products, right? And I just shown you a couple of glimpses on how to create a virtual firewall, for example, in the dashboard. It takes 3 clicks, but basically I'm going to show you very quickly the dashboard, but you can absolutely, if you are interested to see more, we have a full demo. So just please write in the chat. But you can see here, one dashboard, you can see all your alerts, you can integrate with your RMM, so we integrate with Datto, and you can even see your yearly customers here and your monthly customer view here. We are with you along your journey, right? And then you can see the firewall. And this is the firewall section that I just showed you. I said 3 clicks, 1, 2, 3, yeah, maybe 4, just to create the firewall. So it's very simple. It's very simple. And then you can see here how many licenses you have across all of your customers. How many are they monthly customers? Are they yearly customers? And all that. Creating a monthly account happens in a couple of 1 minute. You can select a license, and if you are all about automation and integration and all that, you need to have absolutely think about RMM tool. And I know a couple of you maybe have been to the Datto one. So we integrate heavily with Datto. So you have all the tools you need to automate with your RMM. Now, if you want to become an MSP partner with us, all what you need to do is submit an MSP application. We will review that. Then you need to do one training, which is an online training, 1 hour course. And then your distributor, which is Hermitage, needs to approve you for monthly billing, because we are a 2-tiered channel company and everything has to happen through the channel. So you, the distributor, when you become an MSP partner, everything is automatic, meaning that there is no quotation. You don't need to ask Hermitage for a quotation. You don't need to submit an order. You create customers, you consume, everything is automated, and then Hermitage will be sending you the invoice every month, and then you can invoice your customers. One very important thing, you as an MSP need to provide the level 1 support to your customer, because that's the business model. So if you are a reseller and already selling Sophos, when there is an MSP customer, they cannot contact Sophos directly. You need to be, because you are the IT department of that customer. That's what the model is all about. This is a case study for you if you would like to know more. It's a partner in Norway that has been growing 200% year over year with us. And they used to provide managed IT, no cybersecurity at all, Office 365 computers and all that. And they started with providing phish-threatened email, and then they expanded to add endpoint, and then they add mobile, and then they add firewall. So they have been growing pretty well. And remember, the last, one dashboard, one program, everything is easy for you to cross-sell, but then we reward you as you do so. If you are a partner, you can go to our MSP Hub. You have a lot of information that you can look at. This is the campaign here where you can see marketing for MSPs if you'd like to know more. We have a YouTube channel that you can look at, a lot of good short videos to know more. And if you want to hear more detailed, where we go more about Sophos MSP program, this webinar has a lot of talk on business-wise, but if you want to know more about the specifics of the program, the products, then we can absolutely plan another session with you, or we can invite you to a webinar we host regularly, and then you can come and listen. So in summary, so that there is a last poll that launched. If you are interested to have a demo where we go through dashboard. So this is where you say, okay, I like to partner with Sophos. I like to know more. How can I be more? How can I do more with cybersecurity with Sophos? Then click yes. We will have another webinar. We will go through the products. We will talk a little bit more about MDR. How can you make really good money by selling MDR services very easily? We can show you the dashboard, show you how can you be more efficient, easily sell and cross-sell. And we can talk a little bit about the prices and how can you do that. So in summary, why Sophos could be the vendor of choice for you to provide cybersecurity services. One vendor, reduce costs, consolidate. You increase your revenue because it becomes so easy to sell and cross-sell. You have more security with synchronized security. One management dashboard, you become more efficient, right? And then one program that rewards you as you sell and cross-sell. And with that, I'm a little bit over time. I really wanted to finish maybe 5 minutes earlier or so, but I wanted to drill more on some of the points. And I wish that was helpful. And I wish you enjoy this program. If you have any feedback for us, please let us know. And we will absolutely take that into consideration in future webinars. So questions, do we have some questions from the audience that we can take?
Okay, just let me check. Okay, I see one question. Okay, it's a simple one. Can we be MSP and still sell annual businesses?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually, and especially if the many of you are resellers transitioning into MSPs. If you remember what I have shown you in the dashboard here, when you first log in, is that you can see monthly customers and you can see yearly customers. So we fully understand the transition. Many partners are hybrid. And if you see here, I can have a monthly customer and I can have a yearly customer. So you can just still buy for your yearly customers with your traditional partner program, yearly business deal registration, and all that. And you can sell services and start. And many MSPs, when they start with some customers and then they expand. So that is absolutely possible. And that's why MSPs like to do business with us, because we are with them all the way.
Okay, and there is one more, but you kind of covered it a little bit, so maybe you'll be able to reiterate, yeah? So what are the best practices to start fast with cybersecurity services?
Yes. So from my perspective, if we go a little bit to the case study here, right? So that is a partner that knew what they are selling. Yeah. They told me our advantage is that we have so many customers that deal with us and we have their Exchange server with us. And that's the key for the entry to the customer. So they knew their strength. They knew what they are good at, but also they knew where they want to be. They wanted to provide cybersecurity. They said, if I don't provide cybersecurity for these customers, then they will take it from someone else. And I want to be the one-stop provider for my customers. So then they started, so they knew where they want to be in 2 years' time. And they started, okay, what can I offer now that complements now what I have? So they provided Exchange services and all that. So that was, then they knew, okay, I can package, start with packaging and extra. So dear customer, you pay 100 NOK, for example, for your Office 365 and my service. Why don't you pay 115 Norwegian crowns and you get extra this, extra that? And they went through that and they sold. And then, oh, that's really good. Then let's go again with another campaign. How about Mr. Customer, if we secure your mobiles and so on? So start with your strength, start step by step, make it simple. All what I'm asking everybody is, if you make it simple, you will succeed fast. Even if I show you here so many products, like don't be overwhelmed, like it's a lot. No, it's like you can start simple. Oh my God, it's not going faster than I thought. You can start simple, step by step, make it simple, you succeed fast, and then expand, and you will make a lot of money and have so much fun. So that's it. I reiterated on what I just explained, and I really hope that this resonated with many of you. If you want to reach to me and ask more questions, if you want to arrange a session, please reach to Hermitage as well. Oh, sorry, I ended. I just wanted to put my email address here. So we'll be more than happy to share.
Okay, thank you, Dima, a lot. We're right on time, just 1 minute past. So since there are no questions, so we can wrap up with a session. So as I mentioned, we will be recording. If you miss something, you can always take a look at that. And of course, you have contacts. You can contact Dima. You can contact us, and we'll be more than glad to help you out with driving your MSP business. So once again, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you in the next webinars.
Bye-bye, everyone.